What's up? Just if you jump in the house. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what's really going on and stuff. Well, I always say what's really going on, but anyway, what I think is really going on. So this might be boring, but I think it's applicable to everyone. What's going on in the world right now is people are doing things based on their emotions. Okay, and basically, there's only two kinds of thoughts you're going to have. You're going to have logic without emotions or emotions without logic. You can't mix the two. Logic are your steps, equations. They're already done. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. You know, what is 1 + 1? One object plus another object, and you see them, they're two objects. The emotions, logic without feelings is just doing things based on how you feel. Your feelings, you're only going to have two feelings in your body, one that hurts and one that's neutral. Well, I should say three. A neutral feeling with nothing, and then you're going to have one that hurts and one that makes you feel good. Well, no matter whatever your thoughts are in your body, in your mind, any feeling that you have is always going to be a good feeling, because it's going to be due to some chemical that you manually within your body release. And whatever that chemical is, whether it's adrenaline or whatever, is going to be accompanied by another hormone or chemical, whatever, that will block the pain from your body. Your body emits a lot of heat. Anything above that is stress. That's what stress is. Stress is pressure. Okay, you have a heat pressure threshold, all kinds of pressure thresholds, and once you go above that, then you have your chemicals that come in and they block those, or it basically numbs you, or pretty much probably numbs your mind or something where you can't feel it. A good example is when you have for you adults, when you have sex and you're trying to build a baby, not a baby, but start a family. So your wife calculates with her when she ovulates and everything, and then you commence to reproduce. And then once the sperm has entered the womb, well, as the sperm is going through the tube or whatever it's called to come out into the womb and stuff right there, there's a lot of pressure that's there. And this pressure actually is pain, because when it's coming through, it's rushing through your reproductive organs at a really fast rate, and there's a whole bunch of them, and it's expanding everything. Well, that friction that's caused, that pain is caused, is blocked, and is blocked by whatever chemical that is, or hormones, whatever you want to call it, is that makes you feel good. It just blocks the pain, or it pretty much, I think it just dopes you. And so while it's going through, and it's going through your head, you're feeling this and it's this, and what it is the that stimulation, or that feeling, that good feeling that you have is so good that it causes you to make noises. Okay, it causes you that. Okay, and that's also part of the pressure relief, also, I believe. And then when you finish, well, what happens when it finishes, once the sperm exits and everything, then that chemical, that good feeling, or that chemical stops pumping. Okay, then you're going to then another guy's gonna say, "Oh, I felt good." Well, what was it that you felt? It was just that the effect of the what is that thing called? The effect of the that chemical, that hormone going through your that went to your penis and stuff. So, but let's say if your wife touches you there right after, what happens? It hurts. Oh no, it tingles too much. Or we call it tingle or whatever, but it's still pain. It's something that when it's touched, when your wife touches it, then it causes a reaction that makes you reject, immediately push your hand away, say, "Don't touch me, don't touch me." Okay, that's pain. Now we call it tingle, but still, it's a pain. Okay, regardless, it's a negative pain because of the effect that it has on us by us pushing, or by you pushing your wife away. Well, basically, that's the same thing that goes on in your body, except for you're saying it feels good when the sperm is going through, or when that chemical is out. You saying this feel good, but once it stops, then the effect of it stops, and the effect of it is once it's touched, then you feel the effect of it, and it will be how can I say that? That pain will be still there, but it won't be as tough or as hard as it is, you know. And you know, you guys, sometimes, you know, when your wives, when you say don't do it, and they start doing crazy stuff, and you're like, no, I can't take it, I can't get, stop, you know. So just imagine if you didn't have that chemical in your body to block the pain, or to block the pain or the heat or whatever you want to call it, when the sperm is going through. That would drive you crazy. You could not be able to have sex. You couldn't do it. Okay, well, what I'm saying is that's the way our hormones is. So basically, when you have a thought, and it doesn't matter what it is, you're going to have a thought. And what we're trained to do is we're trained to think by all of our thoughts that have that emotional good feeling, or that drug, or that causes that drug to be released. Those are confirmations of whatever we're thinking is good. But it's not. Because logic has no emotion to it. When you look at something, 1 + 1 = 2. What emotion is in there? There's nothing in there. Now, the emotions might come after you comprehend what that is, but before, no, there's nothing. So what a lot of people do in their lives is what it is you're drugged, or you're hooked on that chemical, whatever those chemicals are that's in your body. You're hooked on those, and they make you feel good. They get you kind of high. It takes your mind out of function temporarily. Okay, and what's important that you need to understand is you can cause these things yourself. You don't have to have anyone or anything happen for this. All you have to do is use your imagination. So let's say like when somebody make a mistake and do something, or let me think if I get it. I'm going to forget it. Okay, so anyway, basically it's like this. I use your homework. You go home, your mind tells you to do homework, but because you're in a religion or whatever, they tell you, well, you know, that you're motivated by your your feelings motivates you. Okay, but being high doesn't motivate you to do anything. It's just a feeling that just makes you feel good. So your mind says do it. You already know you're supposed to do it, but because you're taught that, hey, you know what, there's no stimulation, or I'm not high enough, or I'm not drugged, or whatever, that maybe that's not what I'm going to do. Okay, I need something to push me. And you say it's a drug that pushes you, but it's not the drugs that pushes you. It's the adrenaline or the hormones, whatever hormones you release, because hormones make the tissues and the glands move. And that's all they do. And you need to understand that. And so what you're doing is, because you're so used to doing things, you know, based on that high that you get, then all these thoughts go through your mind, and any other thoughts that do not create that stimulation, you toss it out as not being real or possible, or you don't want to do. And then whenever something that comes in that gives you that stimulation, then you do it. Okay, then you do it. And that's where you get in trouble from. And if you study, when you go to school, if you study, you'll understand it, and then you'll be able to reject those actions based on your stimulation and embrace those actions based on steps. Logic is, we call it like if it's something that we don't know, but logic, actually what logic is it's a known step. That's why it's logic. It's a step. Okay? Or I like to, but people say logic, but I like to use, what is that called? Equations. It's a step. You do this, you do that, you do this, you do that, you do this, and bam, you get that. So basically, that's all it is. It's a step. But what it is people don't understand is when your mind is functioning, you do things in your mind, there are no feelings, because you're not going to, you know, doing 1 + 1, you're not going to release any adrenaline. You're not trying to produce any kids. All you're doing is just following a simple step based on the vocabulary that's there. And if you understand the vocabulary, then you know that whatever at the end of the result, you're going to get some image, or you're going to get a description, or you're going to get, yeah, that's it. Okay, and that's it. You're just going to get some image with some description, or just a description, or some measurement or whatever, but it still has something to do with an object. You can change your life, you can change your neighborhoods. The only reason you're eating bad foods is not because they program stuff in your head. White people don't have that kind of technology right now. If they did, they would use it, and we would be all slaves. Okay, even if a white person had it, that means whoever's on top will get his single or her single hands on it and then control the whole world. You will only have one leader. Because people with that kind of power, if they're mean and cruel or whatever, they're not going to share it. Nobody's not going to share that kind of power. Nope. That's why people only believe in one God. Okay? Now, what it is they understand that if you put something in somebody's mind, and we're already taught that if we don't have any feelings about it, then we are going to we're not going to do it. But if there's feelings with it, with the thought, then we are going to do it. Now basically what the feelings are, and the reason we release our feelings is because if you want to do something bad, well, you need an excuse. And logically, or equations, there is no equation that's going to tell you to purposely hurt somebody. It's not going to tell you that. Now, it might tell you to do something to stop someone from hurting you, or you do something to stop someone from hurting somebody else. But it's just not going to just say, hey, go and hurt this person for no reason. Logic or equations, there are no equations set up for that. That's not nature. And like the earthquakes we have, the only reason we have these earthquakes is because there's an imbalance somewhere in the earth. Okay, based on the vibrations or different things. There's a whole bunch of pressure. When these pressures burst or whatever, then it adjusts itself. And when it readjusts itself somewhere on the earth, then the outside is going to feel it. That's where your earthquakes come in. People saying something moved, but there are reasons for things to be moving, for things to move. So it's the same thing in your body. So like if you go to school and you say, okay, well, I want to study physics. Then somebody will think, and because they'll start thinking like, okay, well, I got to study physics. And if they got to study physics, that's about it. But then if they'll start thinking like, well, I don't know physics, and the logical reason why you don't know physics is because you just don't know the vocabulary. You haven't even tried, but you got to know the vocabulary. And so I don't know physics. They'll say, I don't know physics, so I'm not going to do it. But there is no logical reason for you not to study it, because your very life is physics. It's just a object in motion. So when you're moving, when you're talking, when you're fighting, you are the physics. You are the physics. All it is just describing what you're doing, and that's it. And how you're moving. Based on stationary things or other things that's moving. With the stationary things are things that are moving at your same speed. Things that are moving slower than you, which means you're moving fast, or things that are moving faster than you are, and that means you're moving slow. So what it is you'll think, or criminals will think, whatever, and they'll think of all these excuses. And mostly the first excuses that they're going to think of, or the first thing that's going to pop in their head, are all logical. But because those logical reasons doesn't come with any feelings, then they're going to reject them based on the fact that, hey, you know what? If I don't feel it, I'm not going to do it. And that's it. Okay? And so then they'll think of something that has no logic to it. Well, okay, I'm going to go steal some candy. Well, candy has artificial flavors. Everything is artificial. That means fake. And you know it. And you know that it doesn't do anything good for you. It doesn't do anything good for you. Yet, you go and eat it. Now, logically, you shouldn't eat it. But because your emotions are saying what it is, your emotions, what they do is they're like a substitute for the equation. And that's all you're doing. You're substituting your feelings. You're releasing a chemical that's going to make you feel good. And what you're doing is say, well, I'm thinking about it, I feel good, so it's good. But your logic says, you're thinking about it, then the logic, well, candy bars are made of this, and made of this, and made of this, and made of this, and I hear they got like some kind of like cancer causing stuff in toothpaste, you know, and blah blah this and blah blah blah. And if you eat the cake, you know, you're gonna get fat. And if you go to a party, you know, and you dress wrong, you know, you might get hurt, but yet you don't care because you're gonna do it because your feelings, because you feel good, based on the fact that you feel good. And that's not correct. That's not how you're supposed to react. You're not supposed to do that. Okay? So everything that's going on with these cops, crime, marriages, schools, everything, the only reason things are bad is because people are substituting equations for logic. Okay? And that's it. And they're only doing it for some purpose. They're doing it for some emotional purpose. And that's it. And you have to stop it. You can stop it. Okay? You can stop yourself. You say, well, the government's too strong. You know, what it is you're going to understand that, listen, while you are in whatever country you are, the only way a country can survive is by you participating in it. And if you participate in a way that destroys it, it's going to destroy it. And if you participate in a way that's going to build it, you're going to build it. But the whole thing is, how are you participating in the government that you are, or in the country that you are in? And we have these problems, yes. You have problems where they say white racism and white privilege and this and that and this and that. And all of this stuff is there, but you know, white privilege is some term that just came up. It just, you know, they're just changing it based on just changing racism and, you know, giving it a better whatever, and you know, but it still doesn't matter because, you know, white privilege or white supremacy, whatever these terms they're having, they're not going to, well, it's like right in the way. They're not going to stop you from teaching your children how to read, or talking nice to your wife, or talking nice to your husband, or taking a bath every day, or taking a walk around the block once a day, or saying hi to your neighbors, or just, you know, take care of things that, you know, you should take care of. White supremacy isn't going to stop that. White privilege isn't going to stop that. You know, things that you do around your house and your neighborhood. When these police are coming around, what it is you got these companies and stuff, and they got to generate money so that they can keep people, so they can pay people to keep them occupied. And of course, you know, got to protect the country, protect your neighborhood, protect your family, protect yourself, protect the environment and stuff like that. Sorry, so they've got to pay these people. But what I'm saying is that whatever is going on, you still have power, because if somebody, let's say if you find somebody that's a racist, or someone that abused their parents or their kids or the teachers, you have to sit down and you can tell them, hey, listen, this is what's going on. And you got to understand and break it down to a way where every time they think like that, when they think about doing something wrong and there's no logic, then it's going to come up in the, there's no logic. And you're going to get this feeling like, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this. And then people are going to slowly change. Now, people say they can't change and everything, but what's going on is people are so mangled up in their own thoughts that are coupled or that are drowning in those chemicals or those hormones that's getting you high, that they can't stop. Okay, and so then once the adrenaline is gone and it's flowing through, you know, it's according to how fast you're moving and how fast you think, it's going to be kind of hard to stop it, especially if it's a quick thought, you know, something that you're just doing suddenly. Sorry, this stuff is coming off the top of my head, so I have to talk as it comes, and it's going to be hard to stop. But what we can do is you can go to the police station. You black men and black women who have degrees, you can listen to what I'm saying. You can analyze it and test it on yourselves. It's going to work. I've done it a lot of times, you know, and I'm really trying to change a lot of stuff. When I'm talking to people, I try to change a lot of stuff in my videos that I have. A lot of people, you know, in school, well, you don't know, but a lot of people in schools, junior high schools, they changed. I'm getting letters. I used to get letters from them. They went on to college, got BAs, masters. Some went and got their PhD. Some got 6-figure jobs, you know, 6-digit jobs and stuff like that. Some created their own businesses. A lot of them got degrees, came out to visit Japan, visit me. You know, I got to meet a lot of people from a lot of brothers. A lot of white guys call me, you know, and I've met them when they came out. I ran into one, Nate from Las Vegas, and Nada just by accident, and you know, he's Asian, you know. So what I'm saying is there are ways to change. The police officers, you know, why you have to think of why they're doing this. You know, a lot of, basically what it is, a lot of people are bored. What is bored? Well, a lot of people want that stimulation going through their bodies constantly. And when it goes to your body, all it does is relaxes you, and you can't really do anything. You know, it relaxes you. And so I guess people would call that highness some kind of energy, but it's not energy. You know, it slows you down. It brings you to a halt. And that's what it does. Now, if you want energy, you got to eat the proper vitamins, minerals, and stuff like that. And then it'll energize you and stuff like that. So you got to go and you got to talk to them. You got to talk to yourselves. You know, you got to go talk to the people that are creating these problems. You know, you got to talk to the world leaders, you know, government leaders, the people that are in the government and stuff like that. You got to talk to them, and you got to send this stuff out. And when you send it out, it's going to have an effect. Now, what can happen is that some people who just want to resist, you know, like they just want to resist and they don't want to change, then what they could do is just find other people who are thinking with them, and then they can, you know, like they said, they can, you know, make up things and get rid of the information. But once it's out there, this is information that you can pass on to your kids, your friends, and all of that stuff. And no one has to know. You can't get, you know, they can't say, well, this is against the law to talk about this. You know, you can't, because the only thing that's going to happen by you doing right is building a strengthened country, or a strengthened world. If people are going to unite, and I'm not saying that, you know, blacks and whites need to mix and stuff like that. People need to learn to find someone that's compatible. You know, what you're going to do if you do divorce, you know, what you're going to do if your wife says, you know, I'm really tired of having consensual sex with you, I want to find somebody else, or your husband say that, or what are you going to do? You know, so those are other things that has nothing to do with what I'm thinking of, except for the fact that your decision is still going to be based around the same thing. You know, basically, you know, if my wife said that, I'm like, okay, go ahead and do what you want to do, you know, because she's happy. You know, so why should I? If I stop her, she's not happy, then why should I? And then you say, well, why are you going to let your wife have sex? Well, okay, then what's the reason for anyone having sex for anyway? Because when you do have it, and if you're not creating babies, all you're doing is just filling your body with that chemical that's getting you high. So basically, you're just saying you want to get high, and that's why you want to have sex with your wife, pretty much, and it's selfish. Okay, unless both of you are giving each other massage and blah blah this and blah blah that and stuff, and you think I'm joking about it being selfish, then go get you I got a video called My Foot Massager. You watch it. You will get more stimulation from a foot massage than you will ever get from having sexual intercourse. I mean, consensual intercourse or consensual sex, or whatever the term is, with your wife or your partner, whomever. Okay, most of the things that you're doing, especially when the sex, is all in your head. You're not even probably thinking about the person you're with. You're only thinking about ways to keep yourself, to give yourself an excuse to pump more chemicals out of your body, you know, because you don't have something there applying that pressure to do it. So you can change your life. It only take about a week or a month to really understand what I'm saying. And then after that, you have to start thinking to yourself, you know, okay, well then what's my purpose? What am I here for? And you look at nature, everything is just here to grow, to increase, because evidently we're doing something wrong. Okay, we're doing something wrong. And then I just want to say one thing too. a lot of black people always complain about slavery and stuff like that, and what the white man did to us. But you know, we got these history books, you know, Moors in Spain and different things. And when you look at the pictures, what do you see? You see black men dressed in luxury, and you see these white women laying on the ground in the nude. These guys just walking by him and stuff. And you know, and it's funny because I haven't heard anyone say, "Well, hey, wait, something's wrong with this picture. Why are these white women naked and these black men dressed like that? Why aren't they helping her off the ground, or why aren't they clothing her?" You know, blacks ruled Spain for I think 780 to 1500s. I think it was 1500s or something like that. You know, something like that, 1580 or 1560 or something like that. I forget, but it's well over 800 years. Now we went through it. Sure, we went through it through our years and stuff like that. But we can only assume from the picture that these people used in these books that this probably happened over the course of 800 years. And I heard 2/3 of Spain was ruled by blacks and 2/3 were by the people in the Middle East. And so you have to think about, you know, how these women were treated, you know. And you can't glorify our ancestors who did that and then criticize the people now who did it to our ancestors. You can't do it like that, you know. So you guys got to put some balance in it. And when it comes to the balance in it, the only thing you can say is, hey, you know what, we had the power, we relinquished it, and now we're going through it. What we did, because had they took her off the ground and had they did this and did things a certain way, then maybe where we at now wouldn't be here. And then, you know, they got people who are getting upset and they wanted to fight, and you know, you got the kings that wanted to be gods again, and everybody praising them, and it's all emotional. It's all emotional. So you guys have to understand that what's in your mind is only real based on two things. One is facts, and the facts you can create in real life. And one is emotions. Well, one is the facts you create in real life, and you're not going to make any mistakes. And if you make any mistakes, it's only because of calculations. Okay. The other one is just going to be based off of your feelings, and you got this idea, but the way you go through this idea and everything, then some things are going to be, you're going to use equations, of course, but some things you're just going to just do it, you know, you're just going to eliminate things or just build things and all of this stuff. But the whole idea is, where did the image come from? How did it start? You know, and a lot of this is just based on somebody's individual, someone's individual, what is it called? Someone's individual, personal, emotional or chemical, or getting high chemical thought. I'm God, so I want to do this. And then they convince people to work with them by giving them dreams. Oh, you know, you do this and I'll give you $1 million and you can have all the women you want. And the guy's thinking about it, you know, oh, wow, you're thinking of the image, but you're not thinking that you got to get on the plane and you got to go this, and this woman might have a disease or this and that and this and that. They're only just thinking about the pleasure, but not from A to the pleasure, you know, because there's a lot of things you got to go through. And it's always not always fun. And then when you finish and you got that pain, then what's the purpose of it, right? So anyway, I got to go. But hopefully you guys will understand what I'm saying. And I am really tired of making these videos because I want to talk about some more fun things. I wonder if they're emotional. Anyway, I'm out. Peace.